millions of players, why not try Nutaku's hentai hot sauce, an aphrodisiac for gamers to get them all fired up? And boy, did the community get all fired up. But hey, boy, did the community get all fired up.
This is really something special, man. This really, no way, bro. Like, nah, bro. This is it.
Fired up. But hey, if that's not enough, why not launch a Nutaku-themed adult gamer chair with all the bells and whistles, so you can get the full experience out of their games. Okay, I have to admit, that was just a marketing gimmick by Nutaku, but their real, actual gamer chair did sell out in less than 48 hours. Just like their boot console. It's Windows-based.
Not stupid. You want to sell a gamer chair like that, you can't have it be black, because then the cum is going to show on it better. Like, it should have been a gray chair. It was a mistake.
Я не готова применить это заклинание. Надо подождать.
I'm sorry, but like, I'm just being honest.
Silicon covered and comes preloaded with 200 free-to-play premium game titles. But if that's not enough, why not price pool of $10,000 for the best video that shows people playing Nutaku games while actually playing with themselves?
Right.
Nutaku's prime example of a marketing campaign. But it doesn't stop there. Marketing has...
This video is amazing.
And so why not launch Nutaku's first ever lewd gaming championship with a prize pool of $25,000?
Bro, this would go so hard if it was all OnlyFans girls doing it. This would, I feel like everybody would watch this. Like, you think about that, that would be nuts.
Again, all this costs, and there's no public information out there.
$10 million.
Funding. What I've got you covered. Stick around, because it does get sticky, especially on their Discord channel.
I bet.
That's the glue that holds the entire marketing strategy together. I mean, Discord for game companies is standard, but their channel, it's not just active. It's on another level of active. In any case, with good gameplay, developers by your side, crazy marketing strategy, expensive ad campaigns, and an active Discord community, you've not only grown, but generated a powerhouse of Western hentai gaming.
I can see it. Yeah.
And now, Nutaku is raking in cash, featured in major publications, and their investment funds grow every single year. What's missing? Cutting-edge technology. That's what. Nutaku added cryptocurrency as a payment option, as there was growing demand for particularly the tech industry. But again, for a growing company implementing this payment infrastructure suggests some powerful help behind the scenes. I mean, Nutaku seem to have a knack for marketing, PR, and monetization right from the get-go. And so the question remains, who's really powering Nutaku's material rise? The truth is...
What do you fucking mean? Who's doing it? Like, nobody needs to be doing it. If you build it, they will come. Well, literally, actually. So, yeah. That's the reason why.
There's a much darker force behind the scenes. And so let me tell you that closing those doors isn't just Nutaku pulling the strings, but one of the biggest titans of the porn industry. MindGeek, the shadowy corporation that owns pretty much every adult site out there. Browsers, mofos, you name it. They own Nutaku, too.
Nice.
You might have heard of MindGeek before, but not in a good way. The Netflix documentary Money Shot uncovered MindGeek's complicity in allowing all sorts of illegal content, from rip videos to child pornography and sex trafficking. It was a massive scandal that even led to angry mobs burning down the $19 million mansion of Pornhub CEO Peras in two.
Yeah, that's about right.
After this, he stepped down as Pornhub CEO, but he disappeared to the dark. No, instead he became MindGeek's.
Bro, they unlocked his next power level. Yeah, bro, he went in the face too. Oh my god.
Я пока не могу произнести это заклинание.
President of Mutaku himself.
How convenient.
Надо подождать.
It's a real family affair over there at MindGeek. So while Mutaku is busy marketing itself as this fun, innocent gaming site that revolutionized the
Я
game
не
industry,
готова применить это заклинание.
it was all part of
Я пока
MindGeek's
не
desperate
могу
attempt to
произнести это
rebrand and
заклинание.
diversify in the wake of their public shaming.
Well, nobody really gives a shit about whether there's bad stuff on porn websites. It's not like anybody is like, yeah, guys, I was jerking off, but now I stopped doing it because there's bad things on the website. Said no one ever, okay? So, like, yeah, there's going to be a lot of people that are publicly like, oh, yeah, I don't want to do it. You know what I bet? I bet after that fucking documentary came out about Pornhub, I bet its traffic went up. That's what I fucking bet. I think that they're just doing this because it's a massive market that they can make money off of, right? It's common sense.
It's aggressive marketing campaigns, top-tier PR,
Yeah.
cutting-edge payment options, millions in investment funds.
Я
All
пока
these
что не
are
могу
MindGeek's
использовать.
Their in-house company, Traffic Junkie, which is, by the way, in the same building, helped Mutaku to blast their ads all over the internet and reach millions of players.
Я не готова применить это
The
заклинание.
success story was no fluke. It was orchestrated, a strategic move to polish MindGeek's image.
Well, and it was also something people have wanted good porn games forever. Like, it's not like this is some kind of big surprise. It's just that the games weren't very good. Yeah, there was always a market. It's just that nobody made good games.
Classic case of corporate rebranding.
Like, look at, for example, like, what are all the most popular mods in games? The nude mod, the mod that makes the characters' boobs
Я
bigger.
пока не
Like,
могу
all this stuff.
произнести
That's
это
every game.
заклинание.
That's only half the story. It gets
Надо
really dark.
подождать.
Because MindGeek, you know, loves
Я не готова
Every time MindGeek
применить это
hires a new
заклинание.
person, they tell them that they'll take big data to the next level.
I bet.
Data is, after all, far better than cash in the bank for any digital company.
Yeah, like
And what
Sony.
better way to collect that data than through a gaming platform like Mutaku? Their games are designed to collect user behavior. Any puzzle, clicker, or strategy game has an inbuilt decision-making gameplay that tells them more about you than you know about
Пока
yourself.
не могу
What's
произнести
fascinating
это
is that
заклинание.
Mutaku's privacy policy
Надо
outright
подождать.
reserves the right to collect information.
Не сейчас.
Everything you do
Я
on your
пока
site,
не могу
from
произнести
customers
это
That's a good thing,
заклинание.
though, right? Because, like, if there's a game that you like, and then they put out another game that's like that game, then they can immediately be like, hey, you can play this game.
Использовать эту способность.
So, like, that's clearly the reason why it's happening, right? I mean, it's that simple.
Я не готова применить это заклинание.
of content to advertising and analytics, Mutaku can send your data to anyone without restrictions. After all, MindGeek is just a
Надо
web development
подождать.
company.
You know what I really wonder? I wonder what their average playtime session is. Because you know they have that data. I wonder what it is.
With a strategy for collecting user data. And so I wasn't surprised to learn that MindGeek is actually rebranding itself now to Isla, a rebrand that comes in response to the need for a fresh start.
Naturally.
And so Mutaku may be the Cinderella success story in adult gaming.
Yeah, they're doing the same shit people in WoW would do. It's like you ninja a guild bank or you do something really bad on one server and then you just transfer to another server and change your name. It's like
Заклинание.
yeah, like that.
Я не
Yeah, like
готова применить это
oh, it's easy.
заклинание.
Yeah, you just change your name.
Я пока не могу произнести это заклинание.
It's often how it goes in the world of business. The most impressive success stories are rarely as simple as they seem on the surface.
Yeah, sure.
Interestingly enough, on their LinkedIn page, Mutaku never explicitly reveals what they do or provide. I guess it's not exactly something you want to broadcast to the professional world, you know?
Well, they know that like the more that they talk about it
Надо подождать.
and make it public, the more people will complain about it and get mad. And the truth is that with a lot of adult games and a lot of adult content,
Могу
there
использовать
are a lot
эту
of cringes
способность.
that are super bad. Whether it's like rape stuff, lolly stuff, forced, anything forced, animal sex, incest, like all this stuff, right? So like that like triggers a lot of people that are like moral, right? Because they're like, well, I don't think that you should have like I don't think that there should be a game that's about sucking a horse's dick. Like they don't agree with that. Like that's not in the Bible, okay? And so whenever they see that, they're gonna be fucking furious. So what do? You act like it's not there. 100%.
That's the real lesson. In the dog-eat-dog world of digital business, sometimes it's not just about having the best product or the flashiest marketing campaign. No, sometimes it's really just about who you are.
Я не готова применить это
I don't
заклинание.
think that's true. I think the real reason why this is so popular is because people like porn and people like playing porn games. They like anime. And so whenever you have a lot of things like that, you put them all together and the quality is good, then everybody is going to go there. It's the same reason why Nikkei is so popular. Nikkei is really popular. This is an amazing video, by the way. This is so good. If you look at 18,000 subs, give her a sub. This is such a great video. Oh my
Я не
fucking god.
готова применить
Yeah,
это
this is,
заклинание.
I want to see more of these. These are amazing. I think it'd be the greatest character in games. Yeah, sure. And so I'll link it to you guys again. And it was great. Yeah, it really was. And like, yeah, they made these games good. And I feel like that's one of the things that like porn games didn't have, because like for y'all probably the same way, right? Where it's like how many of you guys played like the porn games like whenever you were like a kid? I mean, like, and that's like another problem, right? Because like kids get on and play these games. Like I was doing it. Like how many of you guys were playing like porn games whenever you were a kid? Yeah, for sure. Right, 100%. Yeah, it's like I was the first one that got internet in my house. My mom would sleep late on Saturday, so everybody come over to my house, right? And so, yeah, and then it was like Lol's dad, like after that, like, oh man, but we were going crazy. And so this was a good time. And Frank Spencer, yeah, Newgrounds and all that stuff. So like these games were never really very good. And it's the same thing with like Nikkei. Is like Nikkei, why is Nikkei a very popular game? Well, because it's got a bunch of really hot characters in it. And it's the same as like none of these games like Genshin, Honkai, Nikkei, Fate Grand Order, Epic 7, none of these games have ugly characters, okay? They have hot characters, and like you go and you look at, for example, like I showed this shit before real quick. Well, let's look at fan art. Let's look at fan art for the characters. Come on. One, best design, Henya, yeah, she is so hot. This is definitely, let's see here, actual Henya looked like this. There's another one. Oh, of course, we've got this right here. Oh, there we go. Of course, yep, there we go. And so all of these posts,
Надо подождать.
I mean, come on,
Я
guys.
пока не могу произнести это
Come on, what are we
заклинание.
doing here? What's going on here? And this is some like weird
Мне нужна
incest shit.
цель.
Oh my god. Everyone
Нужно
is about
подождать.
this. Look at the Epic 7 Reddit. I've never been on there. I don't even know what the fuck it is. Try fan grand order. They're all the same. It's all gonna be the same. It's gonna be weird, lewd stuff with characters or like implications, right? And so check the comments. Yeah, you know what? I might read the comments out of this one. Let's read the comments out of this one. Okay, so that mod is so good. I love the taste. Don't worry,
Я
guys.
не
She'll be
готова
fine.
применить это заклинание.
Sheila didn't come home again. Oh my. Me when I really want to bring Boot Hill home with no guarantee and 60 pulls.
Надо
Look at this,
подождать.
bro. This is the reason why it's successful. Like you can, all you have to do really is like just put something like this out there, and people, if you build it, they will come.
Не убить, я говорю, куску убил
I think that's
крепко.
really what they should. That's what they should. You know, have like their little name. Like that's it. If you build it, they will come. That's it.
Ебало.
I feel like it's gonna get more and more popular, especially whenever people can do it without like having their name or anything like that associated with it. But like it makes sense if they don't really want to talk about it a lot, because like the more that you talk about it, the more you bring attention to it. the more it becomes evident that like they're making money
Я
off of
пока
a
не
lot of
могу
degenerate stuff.
произнести это
Like they
заклинание.
100% are, and like every porn website does this. Like we all like to act like, oh no, that's not it, that's not it. They're all doing this shit, right? Because people like the degenerate stuff, but that's the reason. Nobody wants to admit this. Like, oh wow, why is all this weird bestiality stuff on there? Because people like it. What the fuck do you think? You think they just filmed it for no reason?
Подождать.
No, because people like it. It's obvious. Everybody's degenerate, yeah, but in different ways. But yeah, this is like they need to do like what they should do. They should do like a OnlyFans girls, like all are in like a tournament for something like this. Like that would go so hard. Oh my god, people would love that. $200 million quadruple A skull and bones disaster. $200
Бля,
million.
ёбаные бля мусорные притворя, нахуй. Опять моих мобов убивают, просто похуй.
Wait,
Ёбаные
no,
тупые,
Conqueror was
блядь,
$400
овощи.
million. That's right, sorry. That's
Сука.
half of
Просто
one
имитация
Conqueror.
жизни,
Yep,
ебаная.
no, you're right. I
Нахуй
got
быть
it wrong,
имитацией
guys.
жизни,
I'm
блядь,
sorry.
просто пиздец.
It's like football
человека.
field, yeah.
Один вопрос, нахуй. Нахуя быть
Lay
имитацией
down
жизни?
what you have stolen from me.
You've no claim to it, Robert. Take yourself
Просто
from here
помеха
before I'm
ебаный.
forced to thin your
Просто
ranks
тупо
further.
помеха. Ну, чел честно
You
живет, чтобы
play a
мешать.
dangerous game.
Uh-oh.
I
Просто
assure
помеха
you,
ебаная.
this is no game.
Просто Imagine родиться, нахуй, и жить, чтобы быть помехой.
Assassin's
Просто
Creed
охуенно.
made the golden age of piracy its
Да
playground
ёбаные
in
людишки, нахуй.
2013. The
This is
historical
Black
setting
Flag,
enveloped
right?
players in a swashbuckling adventure across early 18th century Caribbean waters.
Yeah.
Naval combat mechanics entered the mix as a series.
Дегенер мне
Wait, so
рисует
this
один
was in
клевер. На этот комментарий.
2014? This game came out? This one here that we're looking at? This looks better than pirate games that come out now. What the hell happened?
Proving so thrilling that fans wasted no
Отсутствием,
time wishing for
левелапа.
Ubisoft-produced pirate games sans the trappings of Assassin's Creed.
Yes,
Yeah.
The publisher unveiled such a project at E3 2017.
Не сейчас.
The Skull and Bones announcement
Я
trailer
пока
and
не могу
subsequent gameplay
произнести
footage.
это
The same
заклинание.
experience from Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag will be injected into a massive multiplayer ROM. However, the idea derived from a simpler premise years ago, one that would have seen Black Flag receive a seafaring online stream post-launch.
Я
But
не готова
ambitious
применить это заклинание.
heard the siren song of a recurring revenue stream. Thus, Assassin's Creed 4's creative leads struggled for years trying to devise a clear vision.
Wait, so they were just going to use Black Flag, but then they thought they couldn't make enough money off of that, and then they just decided to make an entirely new game?
How Skull and Bones became marred by several regime changes, multiple reboots, and more than a few delays. Mismanagement in the development and publishing departments muddied the waters from the start, and Ubisoft's bold insistence on a hefty
Надо подождать.
all but doomed the so-called quadruple A title. Despite nearly a decade of build-up, the pirate game
Я не
launched to
готова
minimal fanfare in
применить это
February
заклинание.
2024, courting fewer than 1 million users in week 1. Did this beleaguered endeavor ever stand a chance? Its tumultuous production history doesn't suggest as much. This is the tragedy of Skull and Bones.
The tragedy?
Предмет еще
my
не
God.
готов.
Everyone stole it? Well, like, okay,
Я
so
пока
if
не
you
могу
look right now,
произнести
how
это
many people are playing
заклинание.
Skull and Bones?
Слишком далеко. Нужно подождать. Я не готова применить это заклинание. Я пока не могу
And this is
произнести это заклинание.
Okay, so the word tragedy actually does make sense in this
Нужно
context.
подождать.
Okay. Yes, it was indeed, in fact, a tragedy.
Подождать.
Wow. That's impressive almost.
This video was brought to you in part by Warhammer
Я не
40,000.
готова применить это заклинание.
To the eternal conflict of Warhammer.
You want to know what's really funny?
Я
Is
пока
that
не могу произнести это заклинание.
probably has more active players at its core than Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones does.
The ultimate turn-based
actually,
strategy game
like-
in the Warhammer universe. Lead 70-plus champions from
Dude, play it?
17
Yeah, I don't
powerful
know.
factions and lightning-fast tactical skirmishes. Master your strategy.
No kidding,
to
7
conquer
out of 10
challenging
IGN.
campaigns.
Пока не могу использовать эту
game's actually good.
способность.
Guild raids. The adventure never
Недостаточно
stops.
маны.
This December, celebrate Grotmas with the arrival
Нужно
of
больше маны.
and discover new updates, factions, and events.
Надо подождать.
Click the link in the description to download
Я не
Warhammer
готова
Like,
применить
Soulseeker
это
today.
заклинание.
Don't forget to use the code HAPPYDEC to
Man.
receive 2,000 gold and 50 Blackstones, available until January 1st. Lead your champions, dominate the battle,
Я пока
and
не
become a
могу
legend in
произнести
the
это
Oh, that's the guy
заклинание.
from the Space Marine 2, isn't it?
Я не готова применить это заклинание.
Wow. Calgard, yeah.
Founded in 2008, Ubisoft Singapore spent years serving as a support studio for every major Assassin's Creed installment, minus the original. Its co-development
I
duties
just don't understand how have video games gone back in time? Like, are we in 5 years or 10 years from now, are we gonna be playing like Nintendo 64 games again? Like, is this gonna keep going? I don't
Я
know.
пока что не могу это использовать.
design of vehicle-based
Yeah, in 20
gameplay.
years we've
Я
got
пока не могу произнести это заклинание.
For Office Force most daring.
Надо подождать.
Clancy-branded multiplayer game, Pain and
Я не готова применить это заклинание.
with an unsuccessful free-to-play model that only kept it afloat for 2 years. By the time Ubisoft shut down
Wow.
the Phantom servers in December 2016, many Singapore staffers already had their hands full with what would become Skull and Bones. Shortly after
So
completing
this game took 8 years to make? How do you spend 8 years making something worse that you made than you made 10 years ago? How does that
Надо подождать.
Ubisoft Singapore
И сейчас
I
я пока
11,
не могу
yes.
произнести это заклинание.
the endeavor started in 2013.
Я пока не могу
Why
использовать
is he
эту
in an Aquarius?
способность.
This is the problem. What are you doing?
Не сейчас.
You ever see a From Software interview? It's one guy that looks like he's been working for 20 hours and he's sitting in a plain white room and there might be a award that
Сначала
Dark
нужно
Souls 3
выбрать
won
цель.
from like 7 years ago or something like that. And that's it. He's sitting in the office. That's it. There's nothing going on. Like, you're in an aquarium? What is this?
From the same map. Work on
It's
building
research?
a multiplayer mode for the existing game lasted a short while, however.
Oh, wow.
Anonymous sources who spoke with Kotaku in 2021 recalled how Singapore's sailing tech, as well as its then fledgling Phantoms experience, convinced higher-ups the studio could quickly produce a live service using Black Flag assets. The beginnings of an Assassin's Creed 4 multiplayer suite consequently
man.
transformed into a separate MMO-like project with the
Yeah.
codename Black Flag Infinite. An inherent connection to Black Flag and its
Infinite
aging
content.
technology held back Infinite's growth potential on multiple
And
fronts.
this is all Black Flag, right? It's not Skull and Bones because it looks good. I'm assuming it's Black Flag.
Приветствую. Удачи.
Yeah.
Еще мало.
For one, AC
Как
was a
будет с тобой
cross-gen game for both PS3 and PS4 era hardware, almost
Здравствуй,
guaranteeing Infinite would be rendered obsolete upon release. Hoping
Yeah.
to future-proof the online pirate experience, Ubisoft headquarters set aside the Assassin's Creed branding and instead charged the Singapore outfit with creating a new IP centered around high-stakes ship combat.
Right.
Skull and Bones, tentatively titled Project Liberté, spawned from this line of instruction, the chaos of mismanagement nipping at its heels.
This is crazy. Because I remember looking like the original videos of Skull and Bones and it looked amazing. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
like, oh, this is going to be
well,
fun. We're going to play this. And then I guess not, right?
120 days. That's how long the average pirate survived a lawless life on the seas
During the golden
Я
age,
пока не могу произнести это заклинание.
creative director for Skull and Bones. And then
Я не готова применить это заклинание.
Even in the years leading up to the E3 2017 unveiling, the core Skull and Bones premise manifested.
Подождать.
One embryonic version imagined Project Liberty
Я пока не могу произнести это
Another
заклинание.
pre-production iteration reportedly took inspiration from strategy game Sid Meier's Pirates.
Я не могу использовать эту способность.
Fantasy world where branching multiplayer campaigns could last for weeks. The mythical pirate utopia
Я не готова применить это
primary force
заклинание.
behind a third variation. Though all were explored to some extent, none of these ideas advanced beyond prototyping. Still, Ubisoft Singapore invested a significant amount of resources and time into each iteration as a result of
Надо подождать.
Что не так?
focus
Вот
shifted
это
around 2017.
Я не готова применить это заклинание.
хотелка.
Is that they switched the direction of the game 3 or 4 times.
Жми ты
And
блядскую
so it's
билку.
like you're developing it for 8 years, but like you're really only developing that game, that version, like for 4.
Leeds decided
Я
that
пока
sessions
не могу
based
произнести это заклинание.
boats was
Надо подождать.
an Indian Ocean backdrop seemed optimal as well. Considering the large ocean basin housed every major ecosystem and a wealth of
Я
treasure.
пока не могу
Plus, the ocean's
произнести это
proximity to
заклинание.
Singapore provided the developers with a certain air of confidence that they'd be able to faithfully fashion a fantasy about how the region's pirates operated.
So they think that because they're next to water, they're gonna make a good pirate game?
Надо подождать. Я не готова применить это заклинание.
Yeah, uh-huh. Okay, yeah, the director was at an aquarium. How do you do something like this? It's so retarded it loops back around to being smart. I don't know, apparently not. It almost did though.
Ubisoft showcased a glimpse of this vision during the Skull and Bones reveal at
Scary
Microsoft's
logic?
E3
It is scary, isn't it?
2017 press conference. On top of the bombastic ship combat, initial details teased epic
Не сейчас.
pirates and beasts lying in wait.
Надо
The
подождать.
promise of 5v5 player modes and ship
Я не
customization
готова
centered around
применить
RPGs
это
for both
заклинание.
classes also captured the public's attention.
Я пока не могу использовать эту способность.
Touted improved win mechanics as a major improvement over Black Flag.
Yeah.
Especially since the feature boasted offensive and defensive uses combined with
wow.
standard navigational tools.
Oh wow.
Regardless of the compelling trailers and marketing speak, Skull and Bones wouldn't escape comparisons to Rare's
Я пока не могу произнести это заклинание.
Yeah. I mean, how is it that this game, like Sea of Thieves, looks better than that? That's
Предмет еще
amazing.
не готов.
Ubisoft developers
Yeah,
are
first director who got the noise case explained. Yeah.
as the key differentiating factor. Sea of Thieves
Надо подождать.
whereas Ubisoft prioritized a grittier approach
Yeah,
informed by
exactly.
many pirates historically fleeing to the Indian Ocean after getting chased out of the Caribbean. Speaking with GamesIndustry.biz, the studio's director
Мне
of product
нужна
and service,
цель.
Francois Logier, noted that Skull and
Look at
Bones
this, bro. What they got Nerf guns at the office? Just you see, you look at. From
Сначала
software, you
нужно
look at
выбрать
Nerf
цель.
guns.
Блядь, сука, нахуй. Тупорылый квест, блядь, ебаный. Просто...
That's for kids. That's a toy.
Я пока не могу произнести это заклинание.
those pirates entering new
Yeah.
waters
Что там,
and
блядь,
fighting
квест
to
зависящий от
reach the
рандома,
top
нахуй,
of the
просто.
food
They have
chain,
swords?
thus
Yeah.
evoking a mafia kind of story, separate from other pirate games. And thanks to the lessons learned from Ghost Recon,
Нужно
community
подождать.
feedback was positioned as an integral
Не
part
сейчас.
and post-launch development. As such, news about the Keepers of the Company accompanied the Skull and Bones announcement.
Я не готова применить
The
это
game and
заклинание.
influence its creation. But some Kotaku sources and Ubisoft executives wanted more from E3 2017's session.
Нужно подождать.
Tasked
Ну, сейчас
developers with
охотник на байту, там у меня
designing
маны нету,
exploration
ну,
busters
прикольно.
by a world
Я пока
quest
не могу это выпить.
modernizing the world.
Я пока не
Oh, here we
могу
go.
произнести это
Yep, there we go.
заклинание.
Skull and Bones received the first of many delays in May 2018, pushing its release out of the previously announced fall.
Wait, so it got delayed into. Wait, so it was supposed to be released before 2019? Oh, this game was cooked, man.
У меня нет
It's
цели.
Sit down!
I think that this is an example of a game that, remember what I said about how some babies deserve to be aborted? I think this is a really great example of that.
Пиздец, я обязан вот здесь стать нахуй, блять. По аналогии, по аналогии. Там такая же примерно высота была, здесь легко докинуть, РЛ легко докинуть. Блять, короче, блять, сука, нахуй. Просто...
The 2018 window and into a nebulous 2020 The publisher
Произвести это заклинание.
Хуя обязан в упор подходить.
some of what the company outlined occupied center stage.
Я не готова применить это заклинание.
Skull and Bones returned to the trade show with a new PvPvE free roam mode called Hunting Grounds that resembles
looks
the
cool.
Division's Dark Zones.
Не, ну нормально нахуй, просто чистим. Выполняем задание на 200%. Просто классно. Выполняем задание по второму кругу. Просто классно. Ну где моя мана? Опять начинается душнилово бесконечно. Мана куда-то исчезает, просто испаряет нахуй. Испаряется. Ну, блять, я нажимаю кнопку, она не нажимает. Блять, ну смотрите, начинается хуйня какая-то просто нереальная. Просто пизда. Я нажимаю правильно. Просто классно. Ну, начинается хуйня нереальная, нереальная анлак, блять, просто классно.
The Skull and Bones Ubisoft exhibited for 2 years was abandoned in favor of pursuing disparate gameplay possibilities.
So they basically made a tech demo for a game that didn't exist in order to advertise a game.
Я не могу добраться до этих челов, блять, просто никаким образом, нахуй. Опять никого не сагрив, блять. Просто заебись. И опять придется перебегать, возможно, убивать кого-то. Просто классно. Опять выполнять задание на 200%. Просто выполняю задание на 200%. Хули нет. Хули не выполнить задание на 200, а то и 300%.
Reportedly, Blue's lack of multiplayer expertise motivated his exit. Justin Farron, another longtime Assassin's Creed producer, took over as creative director in 2016, fostering good ideas by many.
I think this is a really great example of a studio that is chasing a trend and overstepping and overreaching into a place that they're not really familiar with and they don't have any
Даже не чекая,
expertise
кто шаман, кто ремесленник.
Because like it just seems like a
Просто
lot of
как
these guys really
всегда
just don't
по
know what
логике
the fuck they're
хуярю.
doing. And they're just trying to get involved in this because it
Просто
seems like
решите
this is
задачу,
what
не
people
читая,
want to see,
кто есть кто.
rather than actually going with something that's part of their
У вас так не получится.
like understanding.
Я, блять, разъебал
It
нахуй.
died
Зачем?
agreed, there's no passion. Well,
Меня
it's
намылом.
not just that there's no passion, it's that they don't have the expertise to put that passion into an actual a product.
Though they failed to align with what Ubisoft headquarters wanted.
Yeah, they're not doing what they're good at, they're doing what makes a lot of money, which is a live service game.
Notably, Farron stuck around until June 2019,
Or what the new popular thing is.
1 month after the second delay. The vice president of editorial from Ubisoft's Paris HQ, Elizabeth Pellin, assumed the role of creative director shortly thereafter and helmed a new way forward. Leadership had previously debated whether the project would center a pirate or their ship as the main playable character. The E3 2017 and 2018 builds revolved around the latter. The mid-2019 reboot focalized a playable pirate, then implemented exploration and survival elements borrowed
Из-за других игроков.
Players than Skull and Bones. No, it didn't have more players than Skull and Bones. Sorry, it didn't had. It has. At this exact moment, one of the biggest and most
Я не
disappointing game
готова
releases
применить
of
это
all time.
заклинание.
Wow. That's... Okay. Well, there we go. Oh my god.
Надо подождать.
I still play this. Atlas is a fun
Я
topic.
пока
Yeah,
не
I
могу
did not even
произвести
expect
это
that.
заклинание.
Сука, ёбаный тормозец,
Сначала
блядь.
нужно выбрать цель.
letting users roam
Yeah.
landmasses on foot represent another new point of interest, one
Sure.
prompting several rounds of trial and error. Existing combat, looting, and sailing mechanics
Меня
remain
нет
in
цели.
time, supported by crafting, trading, and other
Am I the only
resources.
person like this UI is shit? Like putting this in front of it like this? Everything about this is bad. Like, cause I think that there's a huge market out there for a really popular, really good pirate game, and nobody
Надо
can nail it down
подождать.
because I think that they're not willing to do what you
Блять,
need to do. to
просто
have a good
тварь
pirate.
ебаная, нахуй. То есть чел даже не думает о том, чтобы уступить, там, блять, я первый пришел,
The
нахуй.
survival-based editions inspired higher
выводок.
stakes for dying, yielding what some
Black
developers
flag.
deemed
Multiplayer. Excuse me.
Such
Multiplayer.
drastic shifts invited more chaos since the engine
Я
change
пока не
for
могу
Skull and Bones was
произнести это
built
заклинание.
and the sudden inclusion of deeper inventory management. Their crew sunk 6 to 12 months into sorting
Это
through the
просто
resulting
мерзость. Меня
issues,
еще не
so it's
засчитывает,
no
меня не
wonder
засчитывает. Я
Ubisoft's
охуенно
October
сделал, блядь,
2019 earnings report
спиздил
confirmed
быстрее
that
таргет, нахуй, но тварь у
So the
меня, блядь,
delay
Я
просто
не готова применить это
охуенно.
заклинание.
officially the publisher kept Skull and Bones
Надо
in development
подождать.
for quite some time. But fresh details surfaced courtesy of
Просто на похуй чел пиздит мой таргет. Я здесь стою дольше, блядь, он прибегает и пиздит мой таргет без проблем, нахуй, с учетом того, что я макрос юзаю для этого, макрос, блядь, макрос.
Произнести это
As
заклинание.
a result, instead
Чем
of
я
the
обычно не
division's
занимаюсь.
claims as a service anchor
Я
with
макросами
its
не
regular
играю,
updates and
как тот
unchanging
ебаный.
world, the reworked experience
Но тут такая
took
ситуация,
cues
что,
from
блядь,
Fortnite,
просто
dropping
игрок помеха
players
мне
into a
мешает,
persistent
и мне
It's
нужно
again
забирать.
the exact same thing.
Просто
They're
классно.
not following any sort of like ideology. There's no principle to the development.
Я
It's
хочу
like,
забрать
well,
через
look at
макрос.
what Fortnite is doing. Well, let's do what
И мне,
Fortnite
и мне не
does. So,
засчитывает.
people like
Просто
Fortnite,
классно.
let's just make Fortnite. New talent isn't as passionate as old talent. I don't
Просто
agree with
ебаный
that.
рот,
I
нахуй.
think there's plenty of new talented developers that make great games all the time. I think the problem is that this
Я не знаю, нахуй, просто мерзость ебаная.
Я пока что не могу это использовать.
Я остаюсь крайним, нахуй, просто прекрасно играю. Я первый прибежал, я сделал макрос, который гарантирует мне забирание первым моба, нахуй. Просто классно. А морал ебаный какой-то забирает у меня моба, нахуй, просто на похуй. А морал ебаный, просто конченый.
depended on community behavior.
Просто мусор.
Stopping short of corroborating the
А я
VGC
остаюсь
story,
крайним.
Ubisoft Singapore's September 2020 blog post revealed that progress on a new vision had entered full swing. The message additionally explains Skull and Bones' many delays.
Я остаюсь крайним,
As
приходится
ambitions
ждать, блядь,
swelled,
по полгода.
so too
Просто
did the
классно.
challenges accompanying them.
Охуенно.
The studio consequently spent several months in
Почему бы рандомному ебану не повлиять мне на игру?
fantasy, while also crafting an immersive adventure replete with
Мне нужна цель.
But
В этой сумке нет места.
I think that in order to have a good pirate game experience, you need to slow the game down to about the speed of Dark and Darker. I think that's what, if you really want to have
Мне
like an
нужно
authentic,
подойти
legitimate
ближе.
experience, I think
Ну,
that's
это
what you
пиздец.
have to do.
Мне нужна цель.
Prolonging the development cycle seemed the optimal way to get at the heart of the conundrum.
Сначала
Ubisoft
нужно
further
выбрать цель.
facilitated production efforts at this juncture upon assigning satellite studios like those in Berlin, Chengdu, Kyiv,
Мне нужна
Paris, and
цель.
А
Philippines
его
to assist
еще
the
полгода
Singaporean
ждать.
outfit.
Здесь даже моб не
A
рестается,
fourth
которого я
delay
убил.
followed in April
Сначала нужно
Notably
выбрать
pushing the
цель.
release to an unspecified date between April 2022
Ага.
They're not
March
even going to tell you when it comes out anymore.
March
Oh, great.
2023. Ubisoft Chief Financial Officer Frederick Duguay spoke highly of the project's creative direction and a financial
Oh, I bet he
call,
did.
then stated development had been advancing well for the past year. At the time of Kotaku's June 2021
меня нет
report,
цели.
sources claimed
How
the
does
direction
something advance well when it's
Это
it's
хуйня
late by 3
зарезалась.
years? I feel like that's kind of not true.
was
Yeah, like if I was late, like I feel like just that's
still
not how it
evolving
works.
because the multiplayer title hadn't hit the mark.
Мне нужна
Advancing in the,
цель.
they're advancing in the wrong way. Okay, that makes
General
sense.
lack of direction, exacerbated by too many leads taking
damn.
charge while few were willing to make tough calls. For other developers, the issues stemmed from the
Чего я не
project.
вижу моба здесь тоже?
Still, there were those who maintained the fault laid at the feet of Ubisoft's editorial division, which proved difficult to please. After alleged editorial would occasionally
Я пока
freak
не
out
могу
changes,
произнести это
a recipe for
заклинание.
disaster since directional shifts forced adjustments that affected everything from progression to the in-game economy.
Я не готова
Clashes between
применить
the
это
Assassin's Creed
заклинание.
and Ghost Recon Phantoms teams compounded the
Сначала
situation,
нужно
as
выбрать
did the
цель.
revolving door of creative leads. Not only did the latter cause multiple reboots, leadership shakeups most often meant previously shelved ideas were relegated
стоит.
and sometimes cast aside once again. Wasting
Jesus.
time thus became the name of the game.
То есть чел даже не
Therefore,
умеет ни
developers
таргетить, ни...
occasionally either
Блять,
found
чё он
themselves
стоит
with
нахуй, да?
Oh
Просто
my
чуть-чуть
God.
стоит, чтобы
How
спиздить
does this
моба нахуй
happen?
просто для галочки.
nothing to do, or stuck in a
Ура,
cycle of
нихуя
busy
себе, вау.
work while higher
Меня
ups
нет
contemplated
цели.
Не пришлось приглашать самому. Чел спустя
Сначала нужно выбрать
30
цель.
секунд догадался увидеть меня и
Мне нужна
вообще
цель.
as well.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
Меня нет
проверить на
цели.
хардкорность
And
и
workplace
пригласить.
toxicity.
Сначала
пиздец.
нужно выбрать цель.
А потом помыть.
2020.
Нет.
Я использую эту способность.
Нет, вот это, знаешь,
I do think that kind of stuff is like super corrosive in a company because like it has people thinking about like the workplace politics and like their experience there rather than the actual job. It's like if you're constantly looking over your shoulder and you're like stressed out, yeah, of course you're not going to be doing a good job. It makes sense.
Supposedly
Yes.
culminating in an unprecedented staff
Конечно,
exodus,
тупость.
in which senior developers left in droves due to the constant fits and starts.
Yeah, can ruin
The
it.
fraught
Absolutely.
production cycle naturally raised questions about why Ubisoft simply didn't pull the plug. A few developers believed a deal with the Singaporean government was what staved off cancellation,
Man.
considering the country's Economic Development Board had granted the publisher subsidies in 2016 to foster AAA game development in the region. Skull and Bones seemingly benefited from a certain level of immunity, though nothing could
Я
save
не
it
вижу
from the
себя,
downward
блин,
spiral
никогда.
that ultimately plagued its market debut.
The release of this game was so fucking entertaining to me. Like, I remember I was actually going to play it
Карташа
on
нет, я не
stream,
помню.
and then I watched gameplay of it, and it looked so bad. It was like, it was a guy who was just sitting there hitting the same cannon button, and it was just shooting a cannonball at a tower, and the tower's health was going like this. And so I sat there and I watched. I'm like, okay, well, what happens when he kills the tower? You want to know what happens? There's another tower.
Чика ты,
I'm like, I'm not gonna play
класс.
this. This is awful. Nobody wants to
Fucking
see
nice.
this.
Предмет еще не готов.
It's crazy.
Нужно подождать.
But where's the actual gameplay? Sea of Thieves is better visually? Maybe. Depends on what you like. I like this visual. It looks good.
Skull and Bones finally received a November 2022 launch date back July for PC, PS5, Xbox, and Google Stadia.
Oh, wow.
New details confirmed players
Google
would spend
Stadia.
most of their time at sea with scattered chances of exploring the world on solid ground.
Ну
A
нифига.
worldwide gameplay reveal
Серьезно, нахуй.
followed the
Я
news,
пока что не
spotlighting
могу это
multiplayer crafting,
использовать.
ship management, and exploration.
Oh, wow.
In short, hopeful players were promised an adventure wherein they'd be able to assemble a crew aboard a small sloop and expand it into a mighty force on hulking warships. Viewers quickly expressed skepticism, lambasting the first-person ship camera, a lack of shipboarding combat,
Слишком
and dated
далеко.
visuals.
Oh, that's right. So basically, there was no shipboarding in Skull and Bones, and it ended up just being like a loading screen, whereas Black Flag had shipboarding like over 10 years ago. The game had potential. There are so many games that have potential.
Many begrudged
So true.
Ubisoft for not delivering something
Такие
along the lines of
там
a
её
Black
лопаные.
Flag 2.0
Yeah.
experience. Ubisoft
Lots of games have
postponed
potential.
Skull and Bones for a fifth time in September 2022. An extra 5 months would be used for polishing and balancing purposes, a necessity
Yeah,
to
this is
improve the
about what it
project's
looks like.
chances of long-term success. A sixth and final delay cited similar intentions in January 2023 as developers prepared
Мне
for Skull
нужна
and Bones'
цель.
February 2024 rollout
Oh,
on
boy.
PC, PS5, and Xbox Series platforms.
It's like, I wonder if you're on the development team of this game, like they have to know it's bad, right? Like you have to know it's like, okay, all right, well, today's the day, guys. Oh, jeez, okay, well, let's put it out there. Maybe, yeah, they've got to know that it's bad.
The Pirate title became mired in controversy once more ahead of launch, courtesy of its contentious $70 price tag. As a live service
yeah.
game with a battle pass, in-game store, and premium currency, the general consensus argues
So it's $70 as premium currency and a battle pass.
Чисто
Wow.
каш.
Well, I could have expected that.
Skull and Bones had no
Привет.
business demanding such a
Чем
high
могу
interest rate,
помочь?
but
Ну, блядь,
investors
просто
raised
миллион мобов,
concerns
0
during an earnings
торгашей.
call.
Есть.
One pondered whether the cost
Спасибо.
could presumably limit the player base.
Yep.
Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot defended the decision, labeling Skull and Bones a quadruple A endeavor that warranted steeper pricing because it offered a full-fledged game that would deliver in the long run. Critic
Do
reviews
you remember the joke that I made in my video about how it had AAA, 1A for each player? It's really getting to be there. It really is. Like things are looking very
У
not
меня
good
нет
for them.
Ну,
цели.
блядь, ну...
Yeah, quadruple A.
and
It's a
user
fact, it
impressions
is.
soon thereafter suggested
Просто 0 травы
otherwise.
нахуй нету. Почему на все
Dismal
локации,
review
блядь, просто
scores
0
permeated
травы
the
как будто,
gaming
0.
discourse. The common
Просто
assessment
прекрасно.
being
Просто 0, просто
provided
zero
fun
нахуй.
adventure. Repetition,
Fucking zero.
minimal gameplay variation,
Zero.
and dull missions did not beget a lasting
Zero
thrill.
Kerbables.
What he means to say is the game sucked
Просто
dick,
классно.
and it did. I had a sponsor for this game. I ended up not even doing it because it was so bad.
Zero fucking Kerbables.
Stellar ship combat and navigation that made Black Flag shine over a
Wait,
decade.
actually, I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I
Мне
don't
нужна
remember.
цель.
Блядь, я заебался.
I don't remember if like that's what happened or they just realized that it was
Мне
cooked.
выйти.
You said they pulled out? Yeah, that's what I was thinking again. I think that they could have just like, it might have been that because I didn't do it on the release day because I was like, I don't know, I probably said, oh, I have to react to videos today. I don't have time to play this game for money. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'll do it in like a couple of days. And they might have realized like, man, I don't think that it's going to matter if we pay more money. Like, we might as well just save our money. They pulled out whenever you said it looked like you sucked 1,000 dicks or something? No, I said that if you build 100 bridges and you suck 1 dick, you're not a bridge builder, you're a dick sucker. But if you suck 100 dicks and you only build 1 bridge, you're Ubisoft. That's what I said. But I didn't say that until recently. Like, that was, yeah, that was very recent.
Prior worked wonders for the multiplayer romp, yet could only bear so much of the heavy lifting. Users shared similarly unfavorable critiques, and low player counts did little to improve the perception.
Yeah.
Insider Gaming's Tom Henderson heard from
Sometimes I wonder how much damage my videos do to games. I actually wonder, because I think it does matter. Now, is it a big amount?
Встретиться с тобой
You
большая
did
честь.
this? I wonder. Because I really, like, I farm people pretty fucking hard.
Я
And
могу...
now,
Здесь
yeah,
торгаши
it's all your
ебаные,
fault.
сука.
Did I kill
Чем могу
this?
быть полезен? Ступай с честью.
Zero, you just state the truth? I
Да
think that
пребудет
that's
с тобой
true too.
свет.
I feel like I am like an amplification device, and I cannot change people's opinions, and I can make people like a good game more or hate a bad game more. But I can't make people like a bad game or hate a good game. I think that's what the difference is.
sources who claim the repeatedly delayed title
Yeah.
barely cracked 850,000 players in its first week. Numbers bolstered by a free trial promotion. It was far from a great start for a project created on an estimated $200 million budget.
Yep.
Users who did dive in seemed engaged at the very least, logging about 3+ hours of playtime per
Да
day.
благословит
Either way,
нас.
developers knew sales figures were less than satisfactory,
Yeah.
with some attributing the soft launch to the ill-advised $70 price tag.
Well, they have to do $70. Like, I actually think that the $70 price tag isn't really that big of a deal, and I think that people would easily put the money together if they found a game that was really good.
Ладно, я продолжу.
The problem is that these games are just fundamentally not worth $70. The experience they deliver isn't really that much better than other games. $70 is too much, though. I don't think that it is too much. There's no, I don't see the logic in that. So, if I look at, like, for example, any other form of technology or any other form of, like, anything I'm buying, right? Video games were $60. They got moved up to $60 the 360 era, right? They went from $50 to $60 from, like, GameCube to a Wii, or, like, you know, the Xbox to Xbox 360.
Я
or
пока не
PlayStation
могу
to PS3.
произнести это
And so with the
заклинание.
$60, and so, like, that's like 2006, 2007, 2005, somewhere around there. I mean, what's really about the same price? Like, I mean, what was $60 then that's only $70 now? I feel like with inflation, you can easily expect that to be the case. Easily expect that. So it's digital now, though? Yeah, I'm sure digital has a factor to it, for sure. But I don't think that it scales at the same level. It's the economy? Yeah. I mean, I think that's the reason why these games, like, but this is the problem, though, is that at the end of the day, you can, I can sit and I can try to justify to you why it's important that games cost $70 and how they will cost. Like, there will be a time when we are old, when we will think back to the good days when games only cost $100. We all realize this, right? Everybody knows this is the case. And that's it. No, I mean, like, how many of you guys have had, like, a grandparent or, like, a parent tell you, like, oh, back in my day, we used to be able to buy X for Y amount of coins, you know? Well, it's just how, it's life. And so, like, and that's just what's going to happen. The point is that these games and investing this much into a big game like this, if you don't know you're going to hit, it's not a good idea. This is why I said these really big games like this is why they're so dangerous to develop and make. It's because you can double down on something that will end up destroying your studio. Game inflation or corporate greed? It's probably a bit of both, right? But I think that it is inflation too. I mean, inflation is a reality.
Specific failings aside, Skull and Bones' various shortcomings appeared indicative of a larger company-wide issue within Ubisoft. Insider Gaming published a report prior to launch detailing the internal tensions that had beset the France-based organization. Sources familiar with the in-house operations identified Ubisoft's penchant for chasing trends in recent years as one of the key
NFT games. Oh wow. NFTs.
culprits behind its steady decline. Between 2021 and 2022, for instance, the Assassin's Creed publisher had approximately 12 Battle Royale shooters in development. Many of them
What?
The Assassin's Creed publisher had approximately 12 Battle Royale shooters in development. Many
Рад встрече. Сальянс.
Who does this? Yeah, why? I don't even. How does that even happen? That's insane. 12 I think that's the money laundering. I wish that would mean somebody that wasn't.
ceremoniously shelved. Poor management of this scale naturally resulted in delays
Как это
becoming the norm.
комментировать? Просто, причем задержка ревнула.
Work environments.
Понял.
It's no surprise the
Нереально.
likes of Beyond Good and Evil 2 entered and remained trapped in development hell.
Да потому что я стопнул его. Я стопнул Рему, он и не
But
выказ
Ubisoft's live
продолжается. Это
service
плохо.
games have turned things around in the
Просто.
past. Rainbow Six Siege constituting the most famous example. Skull and Bones could someday enjoy a comparable surge, contingent on whichever way.
It won't happen. Here's the big problem that a lot of games like this have, is that once players make up their
Так, то есть
mind
какую-то
that the game
искусственную
is
задержку.
bad,
Просто классно.
it's almost impossible to get them to change their mind. And the amount of games that get
Да
players to
пребудет с
change
тобой
their
свет.
mind, it's like
Береги
it's like
себя.
fucking single-digit percentage fraction. Like everybody says No Man's Sky and Cyberpunk. Yes, exactly. That's my point. No Man's Sky and Cyberpunk.
Встретиться с тобой большая честь.
And 2 games.
Да, точно.
Нужно
Final
подождать.
Fantasy 14.
Я
Yeah, but
пока
think
не
about the
могу
amount of money that they
произнести это
invested into totally
заклинание.
remaking that game. And that's the thing.
Я не готова
So yeah, I mean,
применить это
I feel like this is
заклинание.
the main problem. Is that like people just after they make up their mind,
Надо
that's it.
подождать.
Да
For
ёб твою
Ubisoft
мать.
as a whole.
Я пока не могу произнести это заклинание.
Приветствую.
Я пока не могу использовать эту
Keep in
способность.
mind that the company was in such dire straits that having Tencent rumored to be
Я
buying
могу
them
помочь.
caused their stock to go up again.
За Альянс.
That's nuts. Yeah, big money wasted. I think that Ubisoft is going to have like a massive buyout turmoil, like something like that.
Thank you for
Crazy is
watching
going to
our
happen.
video.
Yeah,
We'd
this
like
is
to
a really
take
good
this
video.
time
I'm going to link it to you guys.
thank the generous Patreons who
Yeah,
pledged
this is a great
Hall of
video.
Fame reward
Holy
check.
shit.
Disco Cobra 2013.
Money ain't for nothing and chicks for
Ice
free?
cold water $1.
Yeah, I guess not.
Karu.
Предмет еще не
Holy
готов.
shit, man. Strip for
Shuan
parts?
Chinwei.
Yeah, basically that's what they're going to do, I think.
Не сейчас.
Narrator? Yeah, they did a really good job.
Guard Ibiroju.
То есть она хуйня вроде выпадает.
Я не готова применить это
Это
заклинание.
тот же еблан, который стиль у меня есть? Где, блядь?
Fallen Asterix.
Где Итан?
As a French, those people, they fucking deserve it. You think they deserve it?
Ron
Ну так,
Christopherson.
сексуальная.
Matthew McLaughlin. Reba.
Do they deserve it? I mean,
Просто
I
помеха
think that
ебаная.
really
Классно.
anytime that you fail in a free market, you
Просто супер
deserve
мусор.
it.
То есть чел даже не думает о своих действиях.
I feel like there's
Это
almost
вообще
never a
пиздец. Просто
circumstance where a good product
имитация
fails for
жизни.
no reason.
Roberto Nieves. Sir
Workforce
Alex.
doesn't deserve it?
C-Rob.
Yeah, I don't
Чем
know.
могу быть
Taylor
полезен?
Moten.
They failed as a
Да
business.
благословит нас.
They absolutely did.
Please consider subscribing.
жизнь не просто.
Wow. They basically fell for 10 years, not a single upside. Yeah, well, let me see how they're doing now. Like, I'll see if I can pull it up and find it. Ubisoft stock.
Рад встрече.
How are they doing now?
Вкусненько.
Wow. Well, that's not good.
Да пребудет с тобой свет.
Рада встрече.
Блять, да.
Что угодно.
Права была.
Счастливого пути.
Че, реально просто конченый долбоёб. Просто пивной мусор. Просто пиздец. Противно на таких смотреть. Просто чел на похуй, не думая, блять, стилит мобов нахуй, просто пвпшится, блять, просто, ну, супер мусор. Супер помеха игровая. Просто хатфу нахуй. Просто моральный интеллект 0. И, в принципе. Ёбаное пиво.
I actually think that it's over for Ubisoft.
Silence your critics.
I do. I think it might actually be over. Everybody said I was crazy when I said it was going to happen on Twitter. They said I was delusional.
Lie to your fans. Double down on poor
Yep.
decisions. Ignore feedback. What's that? Oh, this is
Ooh.
a big bag of feedback. We don't need that.
Isn't that Chipotle?
And then virtue signal from your C-suite
Тебе
office.
что-то
That
нужно?
is the Ubisoft plan for success.
встречи.
That's to get them right back on track.
Счастлив.
I am floored. I can't believe it. You know, everything
Я
that
могу
they've done,
помочь.
every action they've taken, everything that they have
Чем
said
могу
has
быть
only
полезен?
dug their grave even
Встретиться с
deeper.
тобой
At this
большая
point, they're
честь.
just diving in, and honestly,
Да
I'm getting
пребудет
really
с
The
тобой
company
свет.
is being run so badly that it makes me believe that there's some sort of like
Ступай с честью.
there was like an idea conspiracy that the family that owns a lot of the
Пиздец.
shares of the company is intentionally tanking it so they can buy back more of the shares at a lower price.
Причем, блядь, что за
And
хуйня?
it's so
И там
bad that it does make me believe maybe that's
и
what's
по
happening.
этой эре, и по этой
Like,
вообще
this is
эре,
how
даже
do
не
you
на этой
make this
локации,
many
это,
mistakes
блядь,
in a
просто
row?
гениально нахуй.
You know,
That's
I had
too
hoped
many.
that after all the
Охуенно,
bad
блядь.
press surrounding Ubisoft, the
Без
failed
квеста.
launch of Star Wars Outlaws, them pushing out
Который даже не на этой локации.
Star Wars Outlaws was amazing.
that they would try to figure out ways to be able to trend in the right direction. And then I thought to myself, why would they do that? I mean, come on. Now we have industry analysts that are predicting that Ubisoft is going to go private and then
Не
sell
могу
off their
Там трава
IPs.
такая.
And to be
Нет,
honest with you, they're probably not very far off. A lot has happened with Ubisoft
Yep.
since we last talked about them. And at this point, their graceless downfall has turned into nothing but pure cinema.
The reason why a lot of people are happy to see Ubisoft like failing is because Ubisoft represents the rot that's been in gaming for years, and seeing them take an L means that gamers get a W. Because they have infested single-player games. Like, if you have a single-player game and it has microtransactions in it,
Не могу произнести это заклинание.
you're like, fuck you. Like, it shouldn't be there. There's no reason. Suck a fucking dick. Absolutely not. We can talk about blue hair, SJWs, woke stuff, all you want. But at the end of the day, the real things that are fucking annoying, actually offensive, it isn't the fact that they have they, them in the game. It's the fact that they have skins and power bonuses in a single fucking player
Я не
game.
готова
That's a
применить
thousand
это
times worse.
заклинание.
Это было.
Ubisoft, once a titan of the gaming
Fine.
industry, is now a cautionary tale of what happens when a
Не
company
восставка ли?
loses touch with its audience and its vision and becomes so top-heavy that their only recourse is to squeeze their customers for all
Я
they are.
пока что не
This is a
могу
story
это
that we have
использовать.
chronicled before. A company plagued with scandals, internal dysfunction, and creative stagnation.
Слишком
In my video,
далеко.
The Complete and Utter Collapse of Ubisoft, we retraced all of their obsessions with their annualized franchises like Assassin's Creed, Rainbow Six, and Far Cry. Once their crown jewels, now they're Achilles' heel. By recycling mechanics, churning out uninspired titles, becoming increasingly more predatory with their monetization, and refusing to innovate, Ubisoft alienated their once loyal player base that could no longer stomach mediocrity. But their problems weren't just creative, they were systemic. As I pointed out in Ubisoft...
I think it's creatively too. I mean, like these studios, this is what happened at Blizzard. There are some studios that it almost, you know what it's like? It's like you have a corpse and it gets reanimated, and it can only like maybe, it can only, I don't know, like bring you your shoes or something like that. And other than that, it's like effectively dysfunctional.
Я
That's what's
пока
gonna
не
happen.
могу произнести это заклинание.
Cost more than they're worth, the company has been hemorrhaging money, losing key developers and chasing trends instead of vetting them. They gambled on live service games and large projects that
Я не
nobody asked
готова
for, seeking
применить это
resources in games like
заклинание.
the long-delayed Skull and Bones, a game that has now become an industry punchline. They lost it all on Star Wars
I
Outlaws.
don't understand how you could think Skull and Bones was good. I was going to play the game. They were going to. I was going to get sponsored to play Skull and Bones, and then I made like 2 videos that got like a lot of views that said that the game was bad, and I assumed the developer was like, okay, well, we don't want to pay you anymore. But they still were going to. They were still going to pay me money. Like,
They were selling 1 million copies and then further embarrassing themselves with the release on Steam. And they closed the studio behind Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown,
yeah,
arguably
this game. Oh, he's
the best game that they've had in recent times. Just
It was
because
the best. It was the most well-received game. A lot of people didn't like the way the character looked because they thought that it didn't look like a Persian. It looked like maybe like an African guy instead. That's, you know, it's up for debate. I didn't really care a whole lot about that, but other people did. The game actually was good.
Ну, ложь мисти, ты
Я не
понял,
готова
мать.
применить это
Had
заклинание.
scandals
also,
and
they
allegations
published
of
that game,
toxic
they did not
leadership,
make
and
that
it's
game.
no surprise that Ubisoft is seen bringing waves of talent departures and plummeting investor confidence. Despite the warning signs of their games failing to reach audiences, Ubisoft seemed unwilling or unable to change. They clung to outdated design philosophies and tone-deaf marketing strategies, prioritizing shareholder appeasement over player satisfaction while accomplishing nothing, literally nothing. And while other companies in the industry have found ways to pivot or regain their footing, Ubisoft has dug their heels in, spiraling further into irrelevance. Fast forward to today, and the cracks in the foundation have split wide open. The struggles
They've got too many games they're trying to bring out, man. Like, look at Rockstar, look at From Software, look at all the good companies, look at CD Projekt Red. Like, they're not releasing 3, 5 games that are AAA a year. Who the fuck does that? You're spread way too thin.
About before are no longer cracks in their armor, they are gaping wounds.
Yeah.
Just recently, Ubisoft announced the closure of 2 studios, another devastating blow to their workforce and morale. And then there's
Means he's still getting his bonus.
Я не готова применить это заклинание.
X-Defiant, a game that was supposed to show that Ubisoft can still compete in the realm of military shooters, instead becomes yet another entry in their growing list of failures.
See, they would have succeeded if they added Nicki Minaj and Kevin Durant as characters in X-Defiant that you could play. But unfortunately, Ubisoft didn't want to get with the times.
Я пропустил,
Jules
походу.
Van Doren, business professor and former CEO and co-founder of Super Data Research, a games marketing research company, is predicting that Ubisoft is headed for privatization and dismantling in 2025. Saying,
Anybody who thought this wasn't going to happen when you see the stock going like this, totally fucking delusional.
the share price is plummeting from $28.19 to $12.30 year over year. The company has become an attractive takeover target. Its valuable assets, particularly Rainbow Six Siege and the Assassin's Creed franchise, could be worth more separately than together. Now, something I want to be crystal clear on is that Ubisoft is essentially powerless. In the videos that I had made previously, I was just basically stating that the Titanic had hit the iceberg. They were already taking on water. The ship was sinking. Their only options right now are to save their valuables and try to salvage what's left.
The only reason why their stock started going back up is that Tencent, there were rumors that Tencent was going to buy them. And like the dream that just maybe Tencent is going to show up to those lazy French fucks and be like, listen guys, you don't want to work, you want to be lazy, all right, you got to start making good games again. No, that's what people thought. I guarantee you that's what they thought. Please no? What do you mean, please no? Tencent owns Grinding Gear Games. Tencent owns Riot. Tencent is they've made, under their rule, they've made a lot of good fucking games. We're not gonna do this, China bad, China bad, China bad. Get the fuck out of here.
That's the position that they're in right now. You know, in a lot of cases, we talk about how difficult it is for some of these really top-heavy companies to be able to turn things around because it takes a while for them to do so, but we don't ever get to study a company that can't turn around. And that's the position that Ubisoft is in, and honestly, that's what makes this so fascinating. You know, when I had made the video talking about how Ubisoft had lost more than their worth, I meant it. Truly, I meant it. They have had too many games that they've released that came out to subpar reception. This is also a big issue that a lot of people really downplay. Brand value doesn't matter until it means everything. And I think that you've seen that happen with Ubisoft or Blizzard. Look at that. And like, for example, there were people that got, like, this is going to be kind of like a bit of a different thing. It's kind of emotional, so just like try to think about this abstractly. You know, like people that like got voice, like doing some kind of like creepy weird shit with girls, and people didn't believe it because everybody knew this guy was a stand-up guy, and they're like, I'm not going to immediately believe this because I've watched this guy for a long time. I don't think that he would do that. And like, that's really the difference, right? And so, like, do you think Ubisoft IPs are too damaged? No, absolutely not. I think that if we heard that Ubisoft sold Assassin's Creed to Capcom, that would be a good day. That would be a good day. I would be happy about that day. That'd be good. Failed completely, and they spent way too much money on it. And on top of that, the company has too many employees to support. Do people even understand that this company has over 20,000 employees working for them? They are
It's only 19,000 now. No, it's 18,000. Probably by the time that this video gets uploaded, it'll be 17,000. Oh god. Jesus. 20,000
Я
employees.
пока не могу произнести это заклинание.
When you're making as much money as they
Я не
are right
готова
now, that's
применить
not
это
enough to support
заклинание.
that many people. I mean, even if Assassin's Creed Shadows found success, let's say 5 million copies, that's a conventional success in gaming. That's not too bad. That would cover their development costs and marketing costs. And then outside of
Там
that,
побольше левел.
not really a whole lot else.
Yeah.
They would need a Baldur's Gate 3 or Elden Ring level of success. We're talking 10+ million copies sold for them to make a profit on this game, and then even still, it's not going to cover up any of the mistakes that they've made with their other games.
No, it's not. I mean, like, look at CD Projekt Red. Like, Cyberpunk, like, they had one L with Cyberpunk. Like, Witcher 3 was really, really well received. The DLC is considered some of the best DLC ever made. And then Cyberpunk comes out, it's really bad, but it improves, and people still are skeptical about CD Projekt Red.
Да ё.
Even though, like, I bet Cyberpunk at its worst will still be better than Assassin's Creed, like Shadows, or like Star Wars Outlaws at its best. Like, think about how good Cyberpunk is now, or at least like whenever I played it. Think about how insanely fucking good that game is. And even that, people
Рад
still are
встрече.
skeptical. Think about how long it took No Man's Sky to
Береги
dig
себя.
themselves out of that hole.
Ступай с честью.
The money that they've invested into Skull and Bones or Star Wars Outlaws or
Yeah.
anything else for that matter. And then keep in mind that their next games to release after
Да
this are
благословит тебя.
much, much further down the road. We're talking years that they're going to have to survive on that money.
Приветик.
Assassin's Creed Shadows is not going to sell that much.
Счастливого пути.
For Ubisoft to be able to patch the hole and get
I
to
think
shore.
they could probably sell 5 million copies of Assassin's Creed Shadows. I do. I think there's a high probability of that. But the thing is, like, I don't know if that would make the money go. That would make the money
Я
go too
пока не
fast.
могу
No,
произнести
like
это
Assassin's Creed is such a
заклинание.
big IP, and there's going to be so much talk about the game. And
Надо
also, it's set in
подождать.
feudal Japan, which is something that
Я
fans
не
of Assassin's
готова
Creed wanted
применить
for a
это
really long time.
заклинание.
I could still see it clearing 5 million copies.
Я
Like, I don't
пока
think
не
it's
могу
gonna be 10,
произнести это
right? Like,
заклинание.
probably not going to 10 million copies, no way.
Надо
But I can see
подождать.
5 for sure. Yeah, I could see it happening.
Я не готова применить это заклинание.
Or it's an impossible
Busy
task.
month.
You're
Yeah,
not
you're
going
right.
to be able to do it. But if they did, it would be one of gaming's biggest turnarounds.
Yeah.
But to do that, it would require leadership, strong leadership. But in this case, the captain
Надо
is just heading
подождать.
for the next iceberg.
Well,
Я не готова применить это
Like,
заклинание.
they had the one, like that, what was it called? Like that thing that was a relic of like the World War II nuclear bomb. It was like the one gate something, and it was like a Tory gate. Yes, the single Tory gate. If you put that out there, like that's something that unironically, that's the kind of stuff that you hire a company like Sweet Baby to make sure that you don't do. Like, and I'm being completely serious. If you're looking for cultural sensitivity readers, that is why they're there. They are there to make sure that you don't make mistakes like that. And people do that. It's a different word. Yeah, exactly, right? It's respect. This company, not Sweet Baby. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, as a consultancy that does sensitivity reading for stuff like that, that is an actual example of it, right? And so it's funny that, like, you know, that doesn't happen. So what happens is, like, it indicates a
Чё не
lack of
откликались?
quality
А того больше не
control
будет нахуй.
all the way down the line.
Просто.
You know, they have no quality control with the narrative. They have no quality control with the research. They have no quality control with the gameplay. They have no quality control with like the way that the game is presented. Like everything about it is bad. So you can't, like, for example, with Cyberpunk was an amazing game that was held back by bugs. So easy to fix that. But you can't polish a turd. That's the problem. And you've seen games try to do that. They try to, you know, oh, well, we're going to fix this stuff. No, you don't understand. The game at a fundamental level is bad.
The bad press surrounding Ubisoft, the delay of Assassin's
people
Creed
not gonna use it,
Shadows,
though.
and the failed launch of Star Wars
They're not gonna
Outlaws,
want
you
it.
would think that the company would try to remain
Even if it's
low
polished.
profile, not make any waves, and not do anything to rock the boat any further. Disregarding all sense of caution, common sense, and reality for that matter, Ubisoft launched Champions Tactics Grimoria
And I
Chronicle.
gotta say too, like if I look at this gameplay, I know it's a totally different game, but like who the fuck watches this and says, yeah, I'd rather play this than Stalker 2? I don't.
Common sense and reality for that matter, Ubisoft launched Champions Tactics Grimoria Chronicles,
Wait,
a
what?
tactical
Oh,
turn-based
yes.
player versus player RPG. The gameplay markets as tactical play to win. This NFT game lets you buy and sell character pieces, earning cryptocurrency in the game that you could then turn.
Oh, okay. I get it. So it's a crypto game. Yeah, I remember Ubisoft announced this, but they never said anything about it because they were afraid.
Heroes, and then you can sell that in real life. The common line of garbage that we normally get with these kind of games, or at least what they try to sell to their coked out audiences. But Ubisoft was
out.
selling characters for upwards of $63,000.
What?
To the dismay of many playing the game in true Ubisoft fashion, it was broken at launch with claims of cheaters and exploiters.
You're telling me they couldn't even get a fake Amiibo game to work?
Надо подождать.
That's embarrassing.
Он не кастует, а этот хуево кастует, а этот нет.
Transaction?
И здесь ретаргетинг не работает в этой игре.
Add in the
Я бы с радостью заретаргетил через тап, но таргетинг не работает.
why Binance and like
targeting.
you know FTX and all of them like made a lot of money and make a lot of money. Coinbase, Cash App to an extent. The reason why they get that.
Конечно, с радостью я бы просто нажал бы тап и просто кастанул бы
Transaction fees, man. Like back in the day,
антимагию чела, но тап не работает в этой игре.
and he was in jail. But before he went to jail for fraud, because his money was 10 years ago. It was like 2012 or it was a cataclysm, right? And so like he was making like over $1 million.
Играть с варгенами равно золоту, так понял.
And so then I started wanting to make my own crypto website in 2000.
Вот я играю на варгена,
Because I could see how much these transactions were. Millions,
Да, просто дух
billions
ёбаная.
of fucking dollars. That's why if you look at my if like my actual Asmongold Twitch channel, it says youtube.com/virtual exchange because that's what I was gonna call it. And so yeah, if I had done that, I mean I probably would. Like I 100%. But yeah.
Я не готова принять это заклинание.
NFT game, Ubisoft's head of Assassin's Creed Shadows has posted nothing when it came back to tackling eyes-only discussions about force representation and the influence of diversity, equity, and inclusion in video games. This has been a major point of contention for potential players and fans of Assassin's Creed.
And he doesn't know that the character Isuke, the main thing they informed themselves about the character was, well, they brought in a cultural expert who previously had written or been involved with books that had to do with relationships with underage people. And then also, I don't know what the details are, so I'm going to spare you with them. You know, you're welcome, by the way. And also another person who was completely discredited in pretty much every single way by not only, you know, putting up false information, but pretending to be another person on Wikipedia, sourcing himself, and then using
Что за
himself
моб
to
был, блядь,
become
вообще? Я там
the,
тоже по
what do you
зимним
call
ключам
it?
бегал, чтобы
To become like
хуйню
the,
брать.
you know, like the main
Там кто
source
же его
for
встретит?
information about this character.
The first game
Yeah,
to be set in
self-reference.
Japan.
Yeah.
A fitting setting for the franchise,
His name is
but the
Thomas
game's main
Lockley. If you wanna
protagonist
look it up.
is in Japanese. Assassin's Creed boss Mark Alexis Cote responded to player pushback saying, Assassin's Creed has always been about exploring the full spectrum of human history, and by its very nature, that history is diverse.
See, all of this stuff, like, this is always so stupid. This is so fucking stupid to say something like this, because you're not going to convince people that
Печально,
they're
вот,
wrong
блять,
about
вот
the way
таких
that they
пивных
feel and
долбоебов,
about
которые пишут
media.
про зоу шизу и прочую хуйню,
Like,
эти
you
все,
can't tell them, like,
соответственно, зоу
oh, well,
шиза,
you're
и они
wrong for
начинают
not
нагонять
liking
на
this, you
челов
have to
просто,
like it.
которые решили
True to
Заборная часть
history
этого
means
фона.
embracing the
Это
richness
просто
of
пиздец,
human
нахуй.
perspective
Тут
without
Просто мусорная
compromises.
людишка.
For example, in Assassin's Creed
И
Shadows,
таких много, и они
highlight
совместно
figures both
начинают
fictional
нападать и
like
хуйню
Naue,
нести.
a Japanese woman
Просто
warrior, and
это.
historical like Yasuke,
Не,
a
понятное дело, не исключено, что
African-born
человек,
samurai.
который играет на
And it
Боргине,
is
у него соул
extremely
шиза какая-то.
questionable as to whether he was a samurai or not. And Ubisoft actually had to put out a post that was meant for the Japanese community to
Но большая
explicitly
вероятность
state
как раз
that they
таки,
were
когда
not
слышишь от
completely
таких
sure
говорил.
about the
Не
circumstances
могу
of his life.
достать.
The
Потому
fact
что чел
is
рипнулся,
that, I
начинает
mean, they
челы,
didn't
блять,
have- did they
сразу
have
утверждать,
iPhones
что
in
чел какой-то
1580?
соушист, потому что он на Боргине играет. Да, я просто хуею, блять,
No,
просто
no, they didn't.
сейчас мета не так.
So they didn't have iPhones.
В 2008 году уже такого не было. Боргины были в 2008 году, когда ЛХ еще вышло. Я сомневаюсь, что чела
Inclusion of a black
Максимум
samurai
рофлили
in
бы.
feudal Japan has sparked questions and even
На уровне рофлов.
controversy.
Сейчас челы на серьезном
Naue,
ебали,
a
блядь,
fictional
пишут.
character, has also faced scrutiny for her gender. But just as Yasuke's presence
Понял.
in Japanese history
Просто рапаем помойка.
Who the fuck do you think's playing
Yeah,
Assassin's Creed? It's a
precedent.
bunch of guys. They want to play as a... Like, why do you think Ezio was so popular? He's a cool-looking, suave guy. Yeah,
Есть
guys
какой-то
give a
мусор.
fuck about that. They do. They care. Like, for fucking sure. What do we, like... It's so sad.
Раздражают челы, блять,
people have to
просто вот
rediscover
с
fire.
мышлением а-ля,
Every single
не
time one of
знаю,
these things happens,
предположение
people have to
равно факт.
rediscover that
Вот вроде Сильвернейма, блять,
like,
у него
these
есть
things
какое-то
do
предположение, он сразу его
They do
выдвигает
matter,
как факт.
absolutely.
Предположение,
They
которое
might not matter
шанс
to everybody,
имеет
but
там
for the
уже
people that they don't
30%
matter
на то,
to,
что это
why
факт,
alienate the people
он
who
это
it does
хуярит как
matter
факт.
to?
Просто
And that's
вот,
exactly
блять,
what
классно.
happens.
is fact, so too
cringe
are the
ёбаный.
stories of women who defined societal expectations and took up
И на
arms in
экспертном уровне
times
это
of
еще
conflict. Holy
пытаются
gaslight,
как-то...
Batman! I don't think I've
Вот
seen
это.
anybody.
It's like, I wonder what the percentage of women fighting at
блядь,
that time period was.
пиздец.
I would assume it's probably pretty low. And so I don't understand the drama though. Assassin's Creed is
Просто
always been very loosely based on
бесконечные
historical type of games. They never
люди с
follow
мусорным
history 100%.
мышлением, блять, просто
The problem,
мешают
I
жить,
think, is that, so this is the difference.
если
I
он
think that you're
утверждается.
right, and I think that's a good way to approach it.
За счет умения убедительно
It's
хуйни
not
нести.
based off of history, it's inspired by history. But I think the issue with this is that they used the authentic nature of the history of this person as an argument for why the inclusion of it is okay. So I think people felt like they were being gaslit, and that's why there was such a negative reception for it.
Ну,
It's a rewriting history. Yeah, exactly.
Draw a man this hard. I don't
Yep.
think I've seen any backlash regarding Naue. A Japanese female ninja
Или
is
гиперболизировать
pretty fitting
какую-то
for a
реальную
setting
там
like
хуйню.
this, and I'll
Допустим,
be
я
honest
какую-то
with you,
хуйню
if she
сделал,
was the
и ее
main
начинают
and only
гиперболизировать
protagonist,
сразу.
I don't think people would be
Привет.
complaining
Примерно.
nearly as much.
I think they probably still would be, but it probably not as much. You're right about that.
То есть эффект
Personally, do not understand the
тысячекратном эффекте.
inconsistency of the messaging here. First, you want to say it's rooted in history, then you want to say it's fiction, then you
Yeah.
want to say you want to make a fictional character historic.
I think every normal person can see how there's a lot of doublespeak going on here.
Притираю просто. Серьезно?
Everybody can see that.
Обновление код.
Yeah, it's mental gymnastics. Yeah, and like this is the problem is that I think the reason why so many people push back on stuff like this is because it's the intellectual dishonesty and the implied insult to the intelligence of the user
Хорошо.
that it's even being considered as a reality. I think that's what really makes people annoyed. How come it's never a Brazilian person getting represented? I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, to be honest, like,
Применить это заклинание.
I don't want to like self-promote or anything like that.
Надо
But
подождать.
the game, it's about the Nudo's massacre.
Я не готова применить это заклинание.
It's coming out, I think, this year or next year. So, yeah, I mean, yeah,
Сначала нужно выбрать цель.
yeah, Hellclaw.
Давай смотрим.
I just don't understand why you keep trying to justify it. Why don't you just say we made Yasuke
Of
because,
course.
well, we thought it would be entertaining and it's what we wanted to make, rather than making it sound like it's some type of noble cause.
Yeah,
First they
or like the appeal to authority.
claim the game is rooted in history, yet pivot to emphasizing fictional elements while defending their creative choices. Then they blur the lines even further by trying to represent a fictional character, Nawe, as a part of some broader historical narrative. It's as if they're trying to have it both ways, asserting historical authenticity when it suits them, while falling back on fiction when it doesn't. The decision.
That's actually, you know, the way he said that is actually so perfect.
Подождать.
Absolutely.
Yep.
There you
Я
go.
не готова применить это заклинание.
Decision to include Yasuke was genuinely creative or static, then why not just own it? Say we wanted Yasuke because we thought it added something unique to the story. That would make it feel far more honest than trying to dress it up as some noble.
Ну да, я говорю про 30%, потому что вот, вот взять на примере сейчас, блять, вот там ситуация, то есть неопределенно. Может быть, реально чел там заскамил. Чел реально заскамил. Но я проверил по видео, там вроде по реакции, чел там, ну я точно нет. По психологии чел просто порол пустотную монету. Чел, ну, какой-то левый чел начинает, блять, просто исходя из того, что просто начинает накручивать хуйню и... Имея 30% информации, условно говоря, доказывающие, начинает просто выставлять это как 100% факт. Что-то. И накидывать хуйню. И это особенно эффективно действует на людей вроде меня. Вот когда меня начинают в чем-то винить, например, самое что неприятное, если меня, например, в чем-то будут начинать винить, я начинаю там думать, то, что я в чем-то виноват, действительно. Хотя я ничего не делал. Это очень эффективно, блядь, работает. Просто ебаная манипуляция, просто фуна. Но это в моем случае. конкретно, возможно. Хесус хотя бы красиво разъебал, он все красиво доказал и задержался. А я человек такого плана, что в меня можно любую хуйню сказать на меня, и я начинаю такой задумываться, блять. Окей, ладно, я в этом виноват. Я не знаю, как назвать такую ситуацию. Что-то у меня такая хуйня есть. Это просто пиздец какой-то. И мне мерзко. Я представляю на себе, меня чел какой-нибудь будет обвинять на похуй, просто закидывать в меня хуйню, в которой я не виноват, но чел убедительно будет против меня нести хуйню, и она сработает. Потому что там условно у него больше аудитория просто и все. И чел имеет харизму и может убедительно говорить. И все. Просто классно. Это просто мерзко. И такая хуйня везде происходит. Просто пиздато. Просто на этом, блядь, все, блядь, просто ломает. Все человечество. Именно на этом. Просто твари манипулирующие, просто... Просто без всяких... Достаточно не иметь доказательств и прочей хуйни, просто достаточно просто убедительно обвинить в чем-то. И это сработает. И люди будут в истории думать, то, что, блядь, всю историю там жизни думать, что тот чел... Что ты там действительно виноват. Это просто мерзость. Неплохо об этом говорить. Неплохо выглядишь. Ну ёбаная, блядь, термоед, нахуй.
Kote is suggesting that criticism or backlash is akin to self-censorship, implying that questioning their creative choices is the same as threatening their freedom to create. But no,
я ебал рот, нахуй, просто ебал рот. Просто заебись. Я ебал рот, просто я ебал рот. Чел еще тупил, стоял полчаса, нахуй, пока я ставил макрос и так далее, просто пиздец. А у меня нету ничего, что... У меня есть огненная вспышка, которая на шестерке стоит, потому что она не юзается, нахуй. Я ее нажать не могу. Просто мерзость, нахуй. Ну ёбаная, блядь, хуйня. Просто передо мной, блядь, возможно, дегенерский бот. После моих слов. Очень странно. Потому что я на сове качался первый раз. Условно говоря.
It's feedback. Treating critique as a form of oppression is not only disingenuous.
People don't like my video game. Help, guys! I'm being oppressed. Oh my god. Wait a minute. People are
Заебало от этого
I'm being
бесконечного
oppressed
невезения,
again.
нахуй,
Oh my
просто
god.
заебало.
Please
Еще и
make it
бесконечное
stop.
невезение, бесконечные дегенерские мувы, просто
But
заебало,
it's
нахуй.
actively
всё,
dismissing
просто
the
заебало.
audience's role
Yeah.
in this